Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss another example for get diagnostics. So mainly we are going to discuss about the row count statement with get diagnostics. So for that, what we will do, we will firstly see one table and then we will insert some data in it because for this example we need some test data, and then we will perform we will walk through the program get diag 4, which is for get diagnostic row count statement. So and then I will walk you through this code. So let me show you the table first. So here I will run one query just to verify the data in it. So select star from Sharmit1, which is my library name slash my table name is students. So here you will see there is no record available in this table. So let's insert quickly few of the data. Insert, my file name is students and student ID is 50, name is testing. Fine. Similarly, we will add few more records here. So 51, and I will again insert for 52, 53, and 54. So total we have inserted 4 records here, or let's make it 5. 55 records. So if I run the query again, select star from Sharmit1 slash and my file name is students. So you can see 5 record has been inserted. Okay, so six record is inserted. We are inserted from 50 side. So what, 2, 4 and 6, total 6 record has been inserted. Now what we will do, we will walk through the program of SQLRPGLI program, and there we will see how we are utilizing row count and what all possible value it can return. So first of all, we are declaring one constant, and constant name is SQL state underscore valid. This constant we will use in order to verify our query. So whenever we are executing any SQL query, it returns some SQL status. So if that SQL status is matched with this SQL state underscore valid constant, then it means the query has been executed successfully. But if there is something wrong with the query, then it would not return the SQL state as 0, 5 times zeros. So in short, you can say that this constant we will use in order to verify the query. Post that, we have declared few variables here. The first variable is gd underscore info of zone decimal 5. So this variable we will use to store the output which we are retrieving from the row count statement with get diagnostics. Now there might be one question, how we will identify which data type we should use here, and what should be the length of this. So for that you can visit IBM official website. There you will find all the required information along with for all the statements along with their data type and length. Okay, so accordingly I have declared this gd underscore info. Then we have s for result, means we are declaring one constant one variable for result varchar 40. So this result variable we will use to store the converted value which we are retrieving in this gd info. Just we will just use this result variable to print the output on the screen. And then later we are setting the commit option to start none, which will turn off the commitment control. And below to this we are using this query exec sql delete from sharmit1 slash students. So what it will do, it will delete all the record from the file students which resides in library sharmit1. As of now, like, we know how many records we have this in this table, right? 6 records there. So just after executing this query, we are using get diagnostics function in order to retrieve row count. So what row count will return? It would return the number of rows affected with the last executed query. What row count will return? It will return the number of rows affected by the last executed query. Okay, so this is the reason why we use this get diagnostics function, and this is very important and most used SQL statement, because if you are working with some project, then I think you have encountered this row count function many times, because most of the time developers use this row count function for the get diagnostics only. Okay, and other information are also used, but not in that much numbers as row count is used. Okay, so this is very important one, and it just tell you like how many rows has been affected by the last executed SQL statement. So in this case, what it will do, it will firstly perform deletion for all the records of Sharmit1 slash students, and then it will store the uh, number of rows affected into this GD info host variable. This is our host variable. Then we are converting this GD info into character and displaying it into storing it into result, and then executing the result. Here we are just displaying the result, and below to this these things are not needed for now, like we are just focusing on the uh, get diagnostic part. But here what we are doing, we are just checking again for the SQL state. If it is valid, then record deleted, else we are displaying the error record and SQL state, and setting the INLR star on. Although this should be just after this query, because here we are checking for SQL state, and this time it is referring to the SQL state of get diagnostics. Okay, so you can customize it as per the logic, because for now we are just focusing on this get diagnostic part. And what this get diagnostic is doing here, it is returning the uh, row count as a output, and that row count is used to identify how many rows have been affected from the last executed SQL statement. So we usually it refers to the last executed SQL statement, which is just at the top or just executed prior to this statement. There might be any other lines of codes as well, but it always look for the last executed SQL statement. Okay, so let's quickly compile this program and see how many rows it is affecting. So compiled successfully. Now I'm calling this. It shows 6. Why? Because there were only 6 record in our table, and by executing, you can see, and if I refresh this table data again, you will see there is no record available now, because 6 record has been deleted, and that's why it is showing row count is showing the value as 6, because only 6 rows has been uh, affected by your last executed SQL statement, which was related to the query deletion. Okay, now what will happen if I call it again? If I call it again, you will see it is returning 0, because this time there is no record available in the file. Then how can it affect the records, right? So as there is no record available, that's why it is showing 0. There is no record affected by this query. And why it is printing this message, as I told you, because uh, in the program flow, if you check right now, it is checking for the SQL state for printing this message, and this is referring to the SQL state of get diagnostics, which is wrong, right? Because here we are just focusing on the get diagnostic, that's why I didn't change this logic. But I think it is clear to all of you, like row count is the main thing, and it is indicating us like how many rows have been affected with this row count statement. Clear? Now what is the what all queries it will we can use with this row count? So we can get the row count for insertion operation, deletion operation, and updation operation. Why? Because let's say if you are executing one SQL query which is inserting multiple records into the file, then it would return number of rows affected for sure, because we are affecting rows, we are affecting tables, right? Similarly, if you are executing, let's say, one update statement where you are updating the table and setting the student name as testing wherever the student ID is 500. So what it will, there might be chance that there are multiple students with a student ID 500. So in that case, what it will do, it will update all the records wherever it finds the student ID as 500. So again, in that case, we can utilize this row count function, row count statement with get diagnostics, in order to find out how many rows have been affected with your last executed SQL statement. Same goes with deletion, which we have just saw here. So it is also showing like how many rows have been affected. Now, one more question: can this affect if can it will return uh, row count as 0 or any specific number if we are reading the data from the file? So in that case, it will not return anything because we are not affecting anything. We are just reading the data. Affect means we are doing any kind of modification in the table. In case of updation, we are modifying it. In case of deletion, we are modifying it. In case of even insertion, we are doing modification, right? But in case of read, we are not doing any kind of modification. So that's why it would not return any kind of row count, and it always return row count as 0. So if you are getting row count as 0, that means there is no effect on the table. And if you are getting no, let's say 4 or 5, then it means you have updated or you have modified 4 or 5, or 4 or 5 lines records have been affected by your last executed SQL statement, which you have executed just prior to the exec SQL get diagnostic statement. So I hope this part is clear, like this row count is clear to all of you, because this is the most useful statement of get diagnostics. And there are many condition in projects where you will feel that yes, we can use this row count in order to find out like what all files, what all records we have updated, what how many number of rows we have affected. Okay, so yeah, that's all for this session. I hope it is clear to all of you. In the next session, we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching TechSharemit.